Around noon, news started coming out that Cambodia and Thailand had gotten into a fight. Hey, you see, in our eyes, these two countries both belong to Southeast Asia. Feels like apart from durian, it's jackfruit. Fruits everywhere, right? So how could they still be at war? Quite rare, huh? Especially Cambodia fighting Thailand. And it's said that Cambodia is pretty fierce, you can see in that video. This is a multiple rocket launcher used by Cambodia. They blew up a Thai supermarket. Honestly, that's pretty intense. In the impression of ordinary people, Thais have a dual nature. And I don't mean two-faced as in scheming. I mean they can be both fierce and effeminate. Look, the fierce side is Thai boxing. Honestly, on this planet, the only thing that can rival Chinese kung fu is Muay Thai. Utterly ruthless. But then they also fancy lady boys. Now isn't that duality? Both effeminate and fierce, that's the scariest kind. Because you can never predict their combat ability. As for the other side, Cambodia, you can see in this video. This is Cambodian footage. They're firing multiple rocket launchers. Man, these guys, once they fight, they don't care about consequences, using multiple rocket launchers to bombard the other side's territory. Don't they know rocket launchers aren't accurate? Especially look at the ones they're firing. I recognized it at a glance from the truck's front. It's the old Soviet-made BM-21 model. This thing was a Soviet product from 1963. Range, 20 kilometers. Extremely cheap to make. Its biggest advantage is that it's inaccurate, which means you can't defend against it, so that's why, in the opening footage, they blew up Thailand's civilian supermarket. See, by noon my followers were already asking me, Cambodia and Thailand are fighting. Why is this happening? Could this escalate into full-scale war? Well, let me tell you, honestly, this really puts me in a tough spot. Why? Because war is way too unpredictable. If you want me to predict exactly how the fighting will go later, who will win, who will lose, and whether it will turn into a full-scale war, well, honestly, you're putting me on the spot. But as an expert on all kinds of human issues, I can tell you clearly, these two definitely won't end up in a nuclear war, that much I'm sure of. Why? Because neither of them has nuclear weapons. See, no nukes, no problem. So we can just sit back and watch the drama. But then again, these are both quite close to our country. Best if they don't fight. Why fight at all, right? Wouldn't it be better to just do trade with us? Making money? Why not? Otherwise, between nations, especially neighbors, it's quite normal to have some conflicts, especially in Southeast Asia. Thailand and Cambodia, it's hot there. And humid too. So people tend to be irritable. Especially now, at the end of July. It's exactly the time when tempers flare. So large-scale clashes are most likely. For example, the reason they fought this time was directly triggered by a military standoff near Tamon Tome and the Priyavihir Temple. And when some people hear this, did the monks from the two temples start fighting? No. In Southeast Asia, Buddhist culture is very prevalent. So for many place names, they use local temples as markers. So these two temples are right on the Thai-Cambodian border. Simply put, it's still a territorial dispute. So who's to blame for this? No one. Really. You can only blame the French colonizers of the past. The border between these two countries was set by the French back then. Do you think colonizers ever set good borders? As long as they drew it. There's never peace. Speaking of border issues, 3 feet of ice don't form in a single day. Especially with these two temples. Actually, since May 28th this year, tensions have been heating up. At that time, Cambodia suffered a big loss. In the conflict, 1 Cambodian soldier was killed or wounded. Then the two countries began a military standoff. Originally, this matter should have ended there. A soldier was killed in action. At worst, pay compensation. Resolve it through diplomatic talks, right? You can't have two countries go to war just because 1 soldier died, otherwise the threshold is way too low. But then something happened. The incident blew up on June 15th. When the Thai Prime Minister, Petong Tarn, had a phone call with former Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen. Basically, it was just to talk things through and smooth it over. She's the Thai Prime Minister who was just elected last year. A young female Prime Minister. When she was elected last year, many Chinese netizens were excited. Reportedly, her ancestors are of Chinese descent. Also, her father is Thaksin, the former Prime Minister of Thailand. So, you see, politics runs in the family. Why did she call Hun Sen? Because Hun Sen was Cambodia's previous Prime Minister. So, why would Thailand's current PM be chatting with Cambodia's former PM? Well, Cambodia's current Prime Minister, Hun Manet, is the son of that former PM, Hun Sen. Ah, now you get it. Cambodia also has politics passed down in the family. So here's where the trouble came. Petong Tarn's call ended up going to the father of Cambodia's current PM to discuss the matter. Think about it, Southeast Asia is such a small place. Everyone's neighbors. They all knew each other before. So, of course, something happens, I'll call your dad, and if he agrees, we'll settle it. Wouldn't that be fine? Logically, that sounds great. But as the Hunan saying goes, it's not the lack of good things, it's the lack of good people. She made the call on June 15th. And on June 18th, the recording of that call was somehow leaked. Can you believe that? 2 national leaders on the phone. It's definitely an encrypted call. It's not like they just picked up cell phones and dialed. The other side thinks this is important and starts recording. And after recording, they just released the audio. Impossible calls between leaders are on encrypted landlines. So how did the recording get leaked? My guess is it was the Thai military. Why? Because the Thaksin family has always had poor relations with Thailand's military. Petong Tarn's father, Thaksin, was ousted by Thailand's military back in the day. Why? Well, the official reason was that Thaksin, as Thailand's prime minister, he belonged to the civil officials faction. His family was large and wealthy. They did a lot of business. You could say they were enormously influential throughout Thailand. Then he entered the court to become an official. This put him in a sort of competitive relationship with another major power in Thailand, as everyone knows. Thailand's military holds an overwhelmingly dominant position. They also have plenty of business interests. In business, they were already competing with the Thaksin family, and now with Thaksin entering the court as an official. Just think, how would the military feel? Peers are natural enemies. Now someone in the same line of work as me is also in office. Wouldn't we have to fight? So, the military drove Thaksin out. That's the surface-level reason. On a deeper level, Thailand has a king. During the struggle between the Thaksin family and the military, the Thai king didn't intervene at all. I am a constitutional monarch. These petty worldly squabbles don't bother me. Support whoever you want. That was the king's stance. Actually, for us Chinese, this is easy to understand. In every dynasty in Chinese history, civil officials and military generals in court could never be truly united. If you don't believe me, look. If there's Uafei, there must be Qin Hui. If there are the Yang family generals, there must be Pan Renmai. If there's Li Hongzhang, there must be Wang Tung. If there's Zhang Gofan, there must be Zhuo Zongtang. Why is that? It's not a coincidence. It's because the emperor needed it that way. If not, civil and military officials would get along too well, link arms and go out drinking together. Then the emperor's reign would be over. I think I've made myself clear enough. I can't say more about that. If I do, I won't even be able to go on a 5-day trip to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. Anyway, on June 18th this year, an audio recording of Petong Tarn calling Cambodia's Hun Sen was leaked. The Thai military was furious. Well, Petong Tarn, what exactly did you say to Hun Sen? It turned out she called our Thai 2nd Army Region commander a lunatic. And even said he was aligned with her opponent. She also revealed to Hun Sen that Thailand's military threat to cut off Cambodia's electricity and water was merely a deterrent and would not actually be carried out. Come on, isn't that treason? Imagine once that recording came out. How could Petong Tarn possibly be okay? Petong Tarn is still young. She spoke too bluntly on the phone. Her opponent seized on it as a handle against her. Would you dare make such words public? You couldn't say them anywhere. The two countries were already in conflict because of a border issue. Now, in a phone call, you called your own military personnel lunatics and said they weren't on your side, and even disclosed strategic threats to the other side. That instantly became a huge incident. The military initiated legal action through the Senate, accusing Petong Tarn of damaging national dignity. The next day, June 19th, Petong Tarn tearfully apologized and personally went to the 2nd Army Region commander to apologize face-to-face, publicly promising that the government would no longer interfere in the military's tactical operations. Was that humiliating or not? On July 1st, the Constitutional Court of Thailand ruled by 7 votes to 2 to suspend Petong Tarn from her position as Prime Minister. Of these 9 judges, 7 have military or conservative backgrounds. This is basically equivalent to her being removed from office. Once you suspend someone from office, can they still be reinstated? I don't think so. This happened on July 1st. Then on July 3rd, Petong Tarn's father, Thaksin, because of something he said back in 2016, once again appeared in court to stand trial. So, what exactly did Thaksin say in 2016? He said in a television program that the monarchy should be closer to the people. Just that one sentence, saying the monarchy should be closer to the people, was considered a violation of the highest taboo. What does it mean for the monarchy to be closer to the people? Don't you know about the sacred military power? So, Thaksin committed the crime of lèse-majesté. He was summoned to court again. From this you can see, as an old saying from Hunan goes, illness enters through the mouth, and trouble comes out through the mouth. Don't talk nonsense when there's nothing to say. You might cause trouble. The more you speak, the more mistakes you make. Confucius also said long ago, you can eat whatever you want, but you cannot say whatever you want. Clearly, the Thaksin family has brought a lot of trouble upon themselves with their mouths in this process. After that, friction along the border between the two countries continued, but throughout the whole process, no shots were fired. The two sides planted mines against each other, but Cambodia didn't dismantle any. However, Thailand suffered heavy losses. They dismantled mines twice. Several people lost their fingers. As a result, tensions escalated. Until this morning, the two sides finally opened fire. As for who fired first, it's impossible to verify. Thailand says Cambodia fired first. Cambodia says Thailand fired first in retaliation. Who fired the first shot isn't actually important. What matters is who can fire the last shot. Of course, at the moment this conflict hasn't ended. But I estimate that this conflict will neither expand nor last too long. Why? Because the gap in strength between the two sides is too great. Thailand can be considered a military powerhouse in Southeast Asia. In some aspects, it's even stronger than Vietnam after all. Thailand has an aircraft carrier. Although that aircraft carrier is the smallest in the world, with a displacement of 7,000 tons and a full load displacement of 11,000 tons, still smaller than our Lingwu. But still, it's an aircraft carrier. Whether it's lamb or not, having something is better than having nothing. Now look at Cambodia. They don't even have a single fighter jet. Their multiple rocket launchers are already considered strategic-level weapons for their country. Now look back at Thailand. Their army even has 59 VT for main battle tanks. I've talked about them before during the Myanmar conflict. So, what's the deal with these VT for main battle tanks? They're made in China. Even Russia's T-90 would be no match for them. Thailand has 59 of them. They also have 110 VN one-wheeled armored vehicles, also made by China. These armored vehicles can even be equipped with anti-tank missiles. How could Cambodia possibly fight that? Given Cambodia's situation, with such a large area, if war really broke out, Thailand could overrun them in at most a week. Some people hearing this might say, then by that logic, Thailand should have no problem wiping out Cambodia. Then why doesn't Thailand just wipe out Cambodia? If they wiped them out, there'd be no territorial dispute, right? That's impossible. Why? Because right next to them there's a big brother called the panda. The panda is clearly a pacifist. Southeast Asia must not descend into chaos. Hundreds of years ago, you were all our vassals, and now you say you'll fight just like that? I don't agree with that. Would you dare to amass troops recklessly? Ah, little Thai, restrain yourself a bit, young lady. And you, don't get too excited either. Sit there quietly and behave. Peace is the most precious. What age is this, still killing and fighting? Look, speaking of Cambodia and Vietnam, don't be fooled by how lively their fight seems now. It won't last long. That real dragon head holding the big stick. Once he speaks, it'll all be settled. Don't believe me, just watch. This war isn't going to happen. Hey, speaking of this, some people might say, if that's the case, doesn't this conflict also affect us? Ah, of course it has an impact. So, what impact exactly? Ah, you have to look back. Look back about a month ago. That's when this conflict first started, in June. Cambodia had just reached an agreement with the United States on tariff issues. Oh, I remember there was also Vietnam at that time, but later we warned Vietnam. As for how effective that was, I don't know, but I heard they were preparing for a joint military exercise. So, it probably wasn't a big deal. But then, a month later, look, Cambodia runs into trouble, and they start clashing with Thailand. So, what now? Who can protect you? Don't you still have to come running to Big Brother? Right, so what use is that tariff agreement you signed with him? Right, you have to know clearly in your heart who the real Big Brother is. That's Cambodia. Now, on Thailand's side, it's the Thaksin family. You can't go wiping them out completely, can you? They've already admitted their mistake, haven't they? There's a saying, don't overdo the killing. Spare others when you can. Right. Your military can't go too far either. See, that's called killing two birds with one stone. Of course, this whole thing was just a coincidence. Nothing to do but call it good luck. Hey. All right, that's it for today. Thanks to everyone for your support, especially those who sent me red envelopes. Those who liked and shared too. And those who tipped, thank you all for your support. Next, I'll quickly update the likes and start talking from the year 1930. It's a huge topic.